for the 100th edition of the World of Wellness now. So my name is Mike Gallagher. It was my pleasure to be here today. It is Friday, day 6 into this event, and I have the pleasure of being at all 100 of these events. Not many people can say that. So again, just a little history of myself. My name is Gallagher. I'm a certified lifestyle educator. I've been in the nutritional industry almost 30 years. My job here is to help answer questions, and try to guide you and make the proper choices in helping you. And again, we have some incredible results through the years, some incredible testimonials. And so again, all week long here, we have some outrageous specials and discounts going on, free samples, free literature. Again, we're here to help, and I know they're offering 20% off on all the services until February of next year. You also get gift bags. There's a raffle drawing for a Vitamix. We have all kinds of great things going on here, folks. So come on down. We're here all day Friday, all day tomorrow. Dr. Judy Mikovits and Dr. Tracy Straub will be headlining tomorrow, Saturday. So again, we have a lot of great things going on. But today, we wanted to talk about something that's in the news all the time. Obviously, allergies and how they affect us. And we have a very unique formula, and we're calling it the Airmaxx Challenge. And we've had people who have listened to this talk, just as you are right now, have come down and tried this, and within minutes, they feel better. So that is the kind of response we get. That's a very unusual, very unique in the industry to have a supplement formula that can actually help this quickly, this fast. But sometimes we do have things that can work that fast, and this is one of them. So if you are suffering from any type of seasonal allergy, upper respiratory issue, sinus issue, right, come on down, give this a chance, and this could really change your life in minutes. And we're not joking. Okay. But before we get into that and exactly all about it, we want to, kind of give you a brief overview of allergies just in general. And again, how we look at them here from our standpoint and how we can help you. And again, from many different directions. Okay. So first, let's define allergies. And again, just according to the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, as many as 50 million people, 1 in 5, have some type of allergy. Okay. So we're talking about seasonal allergies here, right? So again, here's the actual science behind it. It's basically an immune reaction to something your body perceives as a foreign invader. The body mounts a defense against this, and then it produces this reaction, right? So I think we all know what we mean here by the different allergy reactions. Affects our nose, mouth, skin, throat, stomach, or intestines, right? Usually any of them, or it can be all of them. So symptoms, again, a body overreacts, right? Depending on where the allergy is localized. But again, here's all the classic signs, the itchiness, the redness, the swelling, the discharge. And then we get into GI problems and breathing problems and so forth and so on. So all the classic signs and symptoms. Okay, so let's break this down in a little bit more detail. So the term allergy refers to a very specific immune reaction mediated by a particular antibody. So this is a protein in our immune system called IgE, or immunoglobulin E. Okay, so this is what produces that immediate result that we just talked about, that redness, the puffiness, and so forth and so on, the swelling. Okay, so that's that. So if we eat shellfish and you're allergic to shellfish, right? Or peanuts and you're allergic to peanuts, it produces this kind of immediate reaction. Okay, which, by the way, I do want to mention Jeff Nisnik here does do reverse allergy treatments. So again, usually it's 1 to 3 treatments depending on severity of it and how long you've had it, but he can help you. And he's helped many, many, many people through the years here at the World of Wellness. So again, I do encourage you, if you are suffering from any of these type of issues, yes, we can give you temporary relief, but actually to get to the root, he can actually help and reverse that. But there's other types of these type of immune reactions, other types of antibodies, proteins in your immune system, such as IgG, IgM, and IgA. And these what are produced more delayed reaction. Okay. So more of a delayed hypersensitive reaction. And this is usually food. Okay. So these are where we get into food sensitivities. And again, we always start here. So we can guess, all right. And if we had to avoid the top foods for sinus and lung issues, it's definitely dairy, right? So everybody knows milk and cheese, but they forget about pizza, ice cream, and yogurt. So again, milk inflames, dairy inflames your lungs and your sinuses. It adds fuel to the fire with these situations. Again, soy is also at the top of the list. Gluten, as well, and egg as well. So these are your top foods, but a lot of people have other issues. So Jeff can actually test here. All right. It is one of the things that he does and can reverse it. They also have a blood test, if you prefer that, by a company called KBMO Diagnostics out of Massachusetts. They have very unique testing and very accurate testing as well, because they're also combining immune um, component to that as well, which they've identified and patented process to that as well. So, whichever way you want to go, folks, we can help you, but we have to identify what the issues are that are causing these kind of reactions. So we can recommend the greatest supplement in the world, but if you keep eating the food triggers that are causing these kind of reactions, we're just kind of spinning in neutral, right? And I know I did the KBMO test myself from food sensitivity, and I'm sensitive to quinoa, right? That's normally recommended healthy. For a lot of people, it is. For me, it's not. I'm sensitive to peas. Again, most people, that's a healthy food. For me, it's not. So everybody's personalized, everybody's different. I've seen things come up on that test, such as strawberries and blueberries and things that you would never think in a million years that you're sensitive to, that will show up on that test or with Jeff's testing. So whichever direction we can help you folks, come on down. Let's talk about it. We can get you, to identify what those foods. So we can, like I said, guess, but knowing is always the battle, and then following through and avoiding those foods for at least 6 weeks, because those typically are still in your system for at least 6 weeks. Okay, so here's a little bit more detail what happens with these IgEs. So they travel through the blood, they bind to what's called basophils and mast cells, which again are in your immune system, and then they release these chemical messengers, right? Histamine, prostaglandin, leukotrienes, and this is what causes that reaction. So what we are trying to look at it from a couple different aspects of it, but one thing that we are focused on is the oxidative stress component of the free radical damage. Okay, so it's kind of like rust on our cells. So we're helping with that, in addition to helping calm down these messengers, especially your histamine and prostaglandins and leukotrienes. So we're trying to get the same benefit as the medications. And I think we all know what we mean by histamine blockers, like Benadryl and things like this, right? That's what they're doing. But we're not blocking, we're modulating. We're trying to get to the root cause. And again, without any potential side effects. All right. So we have a lot of different weapons, a lot of different tools that we can help. This is just some of them. Right here, Airmaxx would be our number one, but vitamin C plays a role. Immunomax plays a role. Immune tincture. We also have other formulas like quercetin and NAC as well. So we have a lot of different things in ways that we can help. But we always start with Airmaxx first. Okay, so this is always our go-to because it has a lot of these ingredients all in one to helping with that histamine and those kind of reactions. So again, you want to look at it as a natural option to compare to the drugs, But for any of these common side effects, common issues that we mentioned, the itchy skin and eyes, the stuffy nose, the red skin irritation, Airmaxx is always our first choice and first bet. Okay. So we have it in capsules or chewables, but let's break these down. Okay. So this is in the capsule formula. So we have vitamin C, we have zinc. Okay. So again, on immune, we have bioflavonoids, we have Activin, the most researched grapeseed extract on the market, quercetin, bromelain, elderberry, DMG, and a patented form of perilla seed called Benegut. Okay, so this is a really, really unique blend. And could you buy every one of these individually? Sure. But again, that's, what, 10 formulas, 10 ingredients, or you can just try one thing. And again, dosage does matter. So we'll talk about that here in a moment. The chewables have a majority of the same things. Again, these are all, so it doesn't matter whichever you prefer, the chewables or the capsules. It's just the chewables get into the saliva, get into the bloodstream faster. So typically the chewables work within 15 minutes or less is what I see clinically. And the capsules take a little bit longer, about 30 minutes or less, but they both work. It just depends on your preference. But we are sampling the chewables down here, folks, at the World of Wellness. Again, free. Come on, try it, and that's what we're encouraging you to do. So let's break these ingredients down a little bit more in detail. I think everybody knows vitamin C, but they might not realize not only does it help with immune, but it also helps with histamine production, right? And it helps lower histamine production. So that's why we're using it. Then we get into this Benegut, and I work with a lot of practitioners all around the country, and most of them have never heard of Benegut. And then I said, well, it's the patented trademark form of perilla leaf. And most of them never heard of perilla leaf, but it has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years. And there is all different types of research on this with all these different types of allergy inflammatory issues. So, including animal and in vitro, right? As we can see, decreasing IgE and histamine, and even for conjunctivitis with the eyes, right? And then there's other animal studies as well, helping with asthma too with this ingredient. So very, very unique. Most people, again, have never heard of it, but it's very powerful, folks. And anything that's lasted, 100 years, let alone 2,000 years, something must be working or wouldn't last, right? But it does. And so we added that in this. And then we have your minerals, especially zinc. And zinc is really powerful on your immune system. It can help on many different levels. Again, most people are deficient in it, but again, it can help with all different types of infection. And we are using the TRAC form, which stands for the real amino acid chelators. And again, another name for a mineral, folks, is a rock. And it's really difficult for your body to break down and absorb minerals. And so we're doing a chelation process that converts it to a protein that enables your body to absorb it. So this is what you want to look for as far as when it comes to zinc, because now we're getting you the best, most absorbable form, and it's in this Airmaxx formula. Okay, then we have quercetin. And on its own, quercetin is the strongest individual ingredient, natural antihistamine that we can have over the counter. Okay. So there's actually studies here that compared it to a drug, cromolyn, where it was superior to that drug, folks, without any side effects. And again, most people have never seen this study. And this is what I do every day. I show practitioners the studies. And so individually, again, helps with all these different histamine issues, prostaglandin, leukotriene, so helps with reduce all that inflammatory issues. So we do sell it now by itself. If you need additional support, it is one of the ingredients in the Airmaxx, though. The other unique thing about quercetin is it enhances vitamin C and zinc. And we have both of those in here. So it makes them more absorbable. So whenever you are taking those individual ingredients, vitamin C or zinc, we do recommend you add quercetin to it because it will make it work much better. And then we have the bromelain. So that is an enzyme derived from pineapples. It's a very powerful anti-inflammatory, but it also helps with your immune as well. So when you combine bromelain with quercetin with vitamin C, that combination, okay, is known as the triple stack attack, right? They all work together and we put them all in this formula. Again, trying to give you the fastest, quickest results. Elderberry, again, known as sambucus, right? That's also very well popular this time of year for cold and flu season, but it is also antiviral. It does help with mucus and sinus issues. Again, it is in the chewable. Okay, so keep that in mind with that. Okay, so again, individually they all work. When you put it together like this, we call this synergy. Again, it works even faster, again, and trying to give you the best results. So here is the Airmaxx challenge. And this kind of happened last year with one of my other practitioners. And he's like, Mike, it was April of last year, I believe. And he said, it would be cool if you just made a flyer up and said, take the Airmaxx challenge. When people are in the waiting room, they can just try this. So we did this and it's had huge success. And people who normally didn't even, think about this for their allergies, they started trying this and it will work. If it works, folks, it will work in 15 minutes or less. I've seen it work in 5 minutes. I've seen it work in 60 seconds, but very simple. It's very as simple as it can. Just take two and let us know if you notice this in 15 minutes or less. Right. So it's kind of the old take two and call me in the morning. Here's take two and let us know in 15 minutes. But basically, you just want to take some deep breaths, right? With your nose and your lungs. Try two of the Airmaxx chewables. And again, they're free here, folks. Come on down and try it. And we'll know in 15 minutes. Take a couple more deep breaths and you should really breathe better. So it's simple as this. The other interesting thing with this is whenever I'm talking to somebody for the first time, whether it's a patient down here, whether it's a doctor in another clinic, whenever I go over this for the first time, I always suggest that they try this. And a lot of them are, less specialized practitioner, like, nah, I'm good. I don't have any problems. I'm like, yeah, I know you don't. I just like want you to try the taste, see what you think of the flavor. And then they reluctantly try this. And then we start talking, we start going over the details, things, the ingredients and the research on it. And within minutes, majority of the time, I can see them breathing better. I can see them. They're like, and I would ask them, "Are you okay, doc?" And a lot of them would say, "Wow, I can breathe better." And I'm like, "Well, doc, I'm confused because you told me you didn't have any problems. You were 100%. And then they start laughing. But this is the average person. A lot of people have no idea what it's like to breathe normally, what it's like to be normal until they try something like this. Okay. So this is another reason why we encourage people, even if you tell me, oh, I don't have any problems, you'd never know. You never even know what normal breathing is until you try this. Okay. So again, the more the merrier. But like I said at the beginning, the last time we had to talk about this, okay, earlier this year, we were going over this exact same presentation, and someone right there listening on Facebook right now, okay, or YouTube, heard this, and they came down and he said, I'm going to give this a chance. And it wasn't 15 minutes, folks. It was 5 minutes. And I asked her, how long have you been suffering? And she said, 10 years. 10 years, folks. 10 minutes. So we're kind of like that 10 for 10, right, Phil? All right. So that, but that's what we've seen with some cases. And I can remember a couple other cases, one many years ago, and she traveled far away. I think she was from Johnstown, if I remember correctly. So a couple hours away, and she came up to me and she said, I have this really bad sinus issue. I'm in pain. I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much pain are you in? She said it's an 8 or a 9. I'm like, how long have you had this problem? She said 20 years. And I said, well, let's try the Airmaxx. Take 2 and come find me in 15 minutes. And again, folks, it wasn't even 15 minutes. It was like 5 minutes. And she comes up to me and she gives me a big hug and she said, it's gone. And I'm like, what's gone, Mike? She said, the pain. I can breathe. Everything is gone. And so that was incredible case. Again, I'll never forget that, helping somebody 20 years of suffering in 5 minutes with this formula. So, folks, we're not making any claims. These are just a couple case studies, a couple testimonials, but we've seen this over and over and over again with this formula. There's nothing like this that I've ever seen in 30 years. If this works, it works that quickly for those who try this. So that's all we can say. Give it a chance, folks. Give it a chance. Take 2 and let us know. So let's break this down a little bit more about some of the other ingredients in here, and again, some of the research. Okay, so the bioflavonoids. Okay, we mentioned that are in here. So here's an animal study. Again, showed it helped even with dermatitis. Okay, reduced that, lowered those IgE levels, the IgG levels, and other inflammatory mediators. All right. Again, it reports it helps activate those mast cells and basophil that we talked about on the immune side. Right. So, again, now if you have more serious issues such as asthma, such as pneumonia, such as bronchitis, such as COPD, right? Those kind of issues, we need to be more aggressive with the Airmaxx to help with those issues. So we would recommend 2 in the morning, 2 at noon, 2 in the evening, 6 a day. Okay. If you have those issues. So just always keep that in mind. The more serious it is, the more aggressive we need to be. Okay. Now, again, we also get the question for kids and under 100 pounds. We would recommend 3 a day. So it is safe for kids. So that's another question that comes up a lot as well, right? Here's some additional studies with the bioflavonoids that are in the Airmaxx, right? They inhibit IgE, mast cell degeneration, allergies, asthma, histamine. Again, all the same thing as the medications we have research on without the potential side effects. Okay. Resveratrol. So that's something else that can also help with allergies. A lot of people think about resveratrol for anti-aging, and it does help with that. But it also helps with these markers that we're just talking about here. Animal studies have shown it helps with that too. So that's another tool in the toolbox with resveratrol. Okay. But at the point with all this is we still have to keep our immune system strong all year round, but especially in the wintertime, right? Because these markers are looking at the immune markers there, as we talked about the basophils and mast cells, which are in your immune system. Okay. We always want to keep your immune system strong, and then you'll be less sensitive to these kind of seasonal allergies. Okay. But since we are in the cold and flu season, okay, we do want to talk about one of our top formulas that we strongly recommend. I personally take this as well, called Immunomax. Okay, so we have this in chewables or capsules, either one, but the core ingredients are the same. Okay, so we'll talk about DMG here in a minute, but I want to mention this particular ingredient, which most people have never heard of before, called Larix. Okay, it kind of sounds from a Dr. Seuss book, right? So Larix breaks down into this ingredient called arabinogalactin. Okay. So, what I always refer people to, because they've never heard of Larix, is have you heard of echinacea? And most people in our world say yes, right? Echinacea is very well known to help strengthen and boost your immune system. Okay. But what researchers and scientists have figured out a way is that they've been able to extract the immune properties from the echinacea plant, and it converts into arabinogalactin. But believe it or not, the larix from the larch tree actually has more of these immune properties than even echinacea. So that's why we're using larix instead of echinacea in this formula, because it's even better than echinacea. Okay. So very similar. We've done the same thing with the maitake mushroom. Okay, so PD stands for partially defractionated form of the maitake mushroom. Now, we've known for thousands of years the anecdotal benefits of mushrooms to help strengthen your immune, but now here's the science that we now are using. So, only the immune properties of the mushroom we're using. Okay, and nothing your body doesn't need or utilize. And by the way, if you are allergic or sensitive to mushrooms, you can still take this formula, okay? Because it's not the same things that you are reacting. We're not using those antibodies that are in the mushroom itself. So I just want to put that out there as well. But just this ingredient, there's hundreds of published medical studies helping increase macrophage and natural killer cells, which are your immune fighters. There's also many studies with this ingredient for cancer that will help, okay, with cancer. So this is another way that you can use Immunomax, whether it's active cancer or cancers in remission. By the way, with the rabinegalactin, there's also many PubMed studies on that, decreasing cold and flu virus by 26%. It's just one study, but there's many, many others. Then we combine this with beta-1,3-glucan as well. There's also some olive leaf in there as well, which also help with your immune system. So we put it all together. There's the olive leaf, right? So we put it all together, but then here's the cherry on top, folks. All right, the icing on the cake is DMG, dimethylglycine. So I did a whole talk on DMG this past Saturday. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, check it out. We get into the research and the patents on it, and it had a U.S. patent to boost your immune system. It increases glutathione, which is your master antioxidant. It's one of the only supplements that you can take orally that will do this, folks. Okay. It also had a U.S. patent to treat cancer, specifically melanoma, but we use it with all cancer protocols. Okay. So, but when you combine it in a formula like this, it is your master methylizer, meaning it will enhance and make all these other really good ingredients to begin with, make them that much better, make it that much more absorbable. So DMG, yes, we sell it by itself in a chewable or liquid, but it's in the Immunomax as well as many of our other formulas, such as the Airmaxx, right? So these are two formulas that we're combining this DMG to make them even better. Okay. So when people say, oh, what's the difference between you and XYZ? I always say the DMG. Okay. The DMG separates us. It's a game changer. Okay. So vitamin C, it's in the Airmaxx if you are interested in it by itself, which is very popular this time of year. We have many options on it. We have chewables, we have capsules, we have powder, right? Again, it helps support your immune. I think everybody knows that. The key, though, is how much do you need? Minimum prevention is 1,000 milligrams, 1 gram a day. If you are coming down with cold or flu, then we do recommend a loading dose 3 to 6 grams. So, in fact, let's talk about, let's go back to that Immunomax for 1 second. If you're coming down with the cold or the flu, folks, and we know a lot of people right now are doing this, okay? We get the best clinical results with the Immunomax with a temporary loading dose. So that's the key word, temporary. But we would recommend 2 every 2 hours for 12 hours straight if you're coming down with the cold or flu. Okay, now if you're under 100 pounds, so for kids, if you're very sensitive to vitamins and medications, you could just start with 1 every 2 hours. But like I said, we recommend this very temporary loading dose. Now, if we can catch the cold in the first stages and we do this loading dose, for most people, what we've seen, okay, is that we can usually knock out a cold in 6 to 12 hours. Okay, so we don't have the cure for the common cold, but we can get pretty darn close. All right. Once, if it's the flu, it can dramatically help reduce the duration of the flu. Okay. But as an everyday formula, this time of year, you recommend 2 a day for prevention. If you're going anywhere where there's more people, such as on a flying or going to a concert or an athletic event where there's hundreds of people or thousands of people, those days I would recommend 3 a day. Okay. Just to give you a little extra boost. But normally 2 a day in the winter, 1 a day in the summer. This is something I take every single day, have been for many years. Okay. Very, very safe to take it all the time because that battle every day is happening. It's not just cold and flu season, but again, we're always exposed to all kinds of viruses and bacteria, right? So we always want to keep that immune system strong all the time. By the way, if someone had active cancer, we would recommend 6 a day. Okay. Again, with obviously working with your oncologist and so forth, open communication. It's one piece of a large puzzle, folks, but a very important piece. If cancer is in remission, I would recommend 3 a day to prevent that cancer from coming back or spreading elsewhere. So you can use this a lot of different ways, right? We're focusing on allergies for this presentation, but you can use it for just preventative, which is always the best medicine, or if you have issues. And by the way, we've had hundreds and hundreds of people have done that temporary loading dose to knock out a cold or flu. It works, folks. I've done it. Many people tried it. It works. So give it a chance if that is in your situation. But going back to the vitamin C, we know it helps with so many other things. We do not make it. We need to supplement. All right. So keep that in mind, but helps with wound healing, helps with obviously your immune, but any type of damage with your eyes, helps with blood flow and lungs. And again, we have the chewable option for kids with this. Okay. So at the end of the day, right, Airmaxx will give you temporary relief of allergies. Okay. Is it going to fix the problem? Right? Is it going to get to the source of the problem? Right? No, it will give you a temporary band-aid. It is better than a medication side, where you again tend to make you very drowsy and you have all the side effects, right? So it is a much better option than the medication side. But what is really the reason why you have allergies? And what we really have found is two things. It's really a leaky gut situation. So, if that's the case, our GI Complete formula would actually help to heal leaky gut, okay, reduce the inflammation and regenerate GI mucosal tissue. Okay. So, if you are continuously coming down with allergy issues and you have any type of stomach issue, then we would strongly recommend the GI Complete powder, 1 scoop in the morning, 1 scoop at dinner, until you feel 100% better. Then back it down to 1 scoop. If you prefer capsules, we have it in capsules as well. 5 caps equals 1 scoop. So it'd be 5 caps breakfast, 5 caps dinner until you're 100% better. Okay. Obviously, the diet, we talked about avoiding the food triggers, especially dairy for upper respiratory issues and sinus issues. But again, it's always good to know what foods are your triggers. And then adrenal, okay, is the other situation where is the source of allergies because adrenals affects your histamine. Okay. And so if you are stressed, and let's face it, a lot of people are, and if you are having trouble sleeping, which a lot of people are, okay, then that is classic adrenal fatigue. So that's where Airmaxx can be very, very helpful is helping with those situations. Okay. So there's a special way we would dose this. Okay. With the Airmaxx, we would start with 3 in the morning, 3 at noon the first week. And then every week we would start lowering the dosage. But when somebody says to me they're tired, okay, I always ask them, do you have trouble sleeping? So you're tired all day long, and then you come home and you have trouble sleeping from work or whatnot. So that's classic adrenal fatigue, folks. So again, not only does it affect your energy, but your sleep, but also can be the source of your allergies. And not many people realize this or know this. So that's how I always look at the source. So Airmaxx to give you temporary relief, but let's focus on the source. So keep that in mind. And then here's one other thing. And this again is why we like you to try the Airmaxx challenge and try the sample. Because if you tell me you have sinus issues and upper respiratory issues and seasonal allergy issues, and you try 2 of our Airmaxx chewables and you don't feel it, it doesn't work. Okay. To me, you don't have a seasonal allergy. You actually have candida. And so this is very common that candida can store right in your sinus passageways. And not many people are aware of this. And it usually flares up during allergy season. So they associate it as a seasonal allergy, but it's not. It's actually candida. So if you try 2 of our Airmaxx and you don't feel a thing in 15 to 30 minutes or less, then we would go a different direction. So this is where our candida, our candy kill formula would work. Okay, we recommend 4 capsules with breakfast, and then a special type of probiotic called SBC at night, 3 at night, and that helps remove that excess candida overgrowth, and makes it work even faster. So that is the other thing to think about, and the other reason why we want you to try the Airmaxx first. And again, majority of people it will work, but if it doesn't, this is a really strong indication that you actually have candida. Okay, so keep that in mind. We also have these booklets. We've updated them now. But again, there's the diet part of it. These are free, folks. Again, this is a general recommendation that we would look at. But again, we talked about before, right? Avoid all milk, cheese, ice cream, pizza, right? All kind of dairy products, biggie. So these are free, of course, as well. The other thing is, a lot of people think there's no research or science on these ingredients, and that's absolutely false. This is just a small sample of the research and the studies. Just because you're not aware of the studies doesn't mean they don't exist. So again, we always have the research and studies on these ingredients, and there's just an example of that. So, folks, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Phil, is there any questions at all right now? We have, oh, yes, in the audience, yes. The Airmaxx sounds to simply try take 2 of them, and we have them in the back for you right there at the juice bar. Try take 2, and if you should notice it working within 15 minutes or less. It's that simple. Okay? So, you're here now, give it a chance. Yep, so she came late, so she was just asking about the Airmaxx challenge. Take 2 and let us know in 15 minutes or less. Yes, question. Allergic to Airmaxx. What happens? Yeah, so anything is possible, right? So that's why we always have 100% a money back guarantee on any type of issues or reactions. You could be sensitive to one of those ingredients. For a lot of people, it helps, but there's always a situation where you could have an issue. So if that's the case, you just want to bring it back and we'll exchange it for you. Yeah. Right. Okay. So for those who can't hear, she said she's been using it for a long time. She never had an issue with it, and then a month ago she took it and then had a reaction. That usually tells me there's something else going on, because if you had a reaction, you would have had a reaction the first time you took it years ago. So it's good to just give your body a break for a week, and then I would try it again one more time, and then if you are still having an issue, come, bring it in. We'll take care of it for you as well. Okay. It just could be a coincidence if it's something like that. If you've used previously and never had a problem. Yeah, so we have the text sheet on it for you that we can show you, but we kind of just broke it down. So again, vitamin C, perlaceid, abenagut, DMG, quercetin, bromelain, elderberry, zinc. So again, it's loaded with a lot of different things all put together there for you. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, it actually helps with allergies, right? So again, it's extremely rare. Is it possible? I mean, anything's possible, but it's extremely rare. It's really meant to help. And in fact, we've used it for people. We use it for bee stings and poison ivy and all those kind of histamine reactions. Okay, so keep that in mind on that. Okay, so any other questions, Phil? All right, so my time is up. Again, give this a chance. Try the Airmaxx challenge. Come on down today and tomorrow here, folks, all day long. Everything's on special. We have a lot of great things, great giveaways. And again, I want to thank you for giving us a chance. And that's all we can ask. So my time is up. God bless. Have a happy and healthy life. Bye now.